Back in November, I made a video about losing my inspiration. I had hit a rough patch and just couldn't find the inspiration to make anything or write anything. Finding inspiration for most things was non-existent. Then I had the idea of going back to something I always loved, photography. But not just any photography, 35mm film photography. Something that was basically my entire identity up through high school and pretty much through undergrad too. I was still shooting 35mm film up to about a year ago, but for some reason I lost interest in it at some point. So I scrounged up a couple film cameras and ordered some film. Then I headed to my hometown in Miami, Florida for Christmas. I picked up my old favorite cameras and also discovered that past Tiff had left present Tiff 8 rolls of Kodak Gold in the freezer. Thanks, past Tiff. And so, the monthly film project was born. The goal? Shoot 1 roll of film a month. Why only 1? Because film is expensive. Have I stuck with it? No. I've been shooting way more than just 1 roll of film a month. But did it bring back some of that inspiration I'd been lacking? Absolutely. Shooting film forces you to slow down. Film is not cheap. The film I've been buying, a mix of color and black and white, averages somewhere around 20 to 30 cents per frame. So on average, a 24 exposure roll of 35mm film costs about $6. Developing a roll of film with normal scans is about $12 plus $6 shipping to get the film sent in and the negatives sent back. So in total, that's about $24 per roll of film. A little less in shipping if you combine multiple rolls into one shipment, but still, you get the point. So you're forced to slow down because, well, it's too expensive not to. And mentally, there's something to that. Shooting digital film, where you can take 500 shots without a second thought, makes the resulting photos feel less special. There's some magic to having 1 or 2 chances to get the shot and getting it. You value it more. You worked for it. You're forced to focus in on the basics again. Composition, rule of thirds, light metering, nailing the focus. You have to slow down. And for a person like me who's always floating from one thing to the next at breakneck speeds, what I need is something that slows me down. My choice of subject matter has shifted, at least a little bit. As a person who lives and works in national parks and lives in an insanely beautiful state like Utah, my photography has focused on nature and the outdoors, wildlife and birds, beautiful landscapes, amazing sunsets, and dilapidation. Always dilapidation. I've loved shooting rural towns and life in the West, and while I still love all those subjects, film is making me want to focus more on man-made things. Interesting signs and buildings, hay bales, gas stations, and still dilapidation. Always dilapidation. Isn't there just such an exceptional, next-level experience about shooting old buildings on 35mm film? I can't explain it, but there's a reason so many film photographers are drawn to it. Which brings me to my next thing. Photography is a vibe. There's just something about the process. More so if you're developing your own film and making your own prints in a darkroom. Unfortunately, I'm not doing that part at the moment, but I'd love to get back to it someday soon. But back to the point. The process, the sounds, the collecting of the physical film cartridges, the anticipation to see how it turned out, it's the experience that makes film photography so addicting. And it feels so historic. Going back to analog processes ties you back to an entire history dating back over 130 years. And it's so physical. Film is literally a strip of plastic coated with an emulsion of silver crystals in gelatin. These are exposed to light, developed in a chemical bath, and then fixed to turn the unexposed silver into a light-insensitive, water-soluble compound that washes away. The size of those silver crystals even dictate how the film works. The bigger the crystals, the grainier the film. It doesn't get much more physical than that. It's less about perfection. There are a million YouTube videos explaining how to get the sharpest possible shot on your digital camera. Better cameras. These camera settings are guaranteed to improve your photos. More megapixels, more. And ironically now, there are a million videos on how to get the analog film look on digital. More apparently even means more grain too. But with film photography, I missed focus? That sucks. But look how cool it looks. There's too much grain? No such thing. It's quirky, it's interesting, it draws me in. You're never going to get those crisp digital quality photos, but that's the point. Maybe something less perfect is the goal, at least for me. So here's to continuing to shoot 35mm film, feeling inspired, and spending all my money on film.